Well, there is fear in this country, the United States of America, that the coronavirus will cause severe food shortages. With us now is Ethan Lane. He's Vice President of Government Affairs at the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Joins us by phone this evening. Ethan, good for you to be here.
Thank you for having me.
I'd say where's the beef, but that's too obvious. So I'll ask you, how's the beef? What's the state of the industry tonight?
Look, first and foremost, there is no shortage of beef in the United States. That's something that I think folks really need to understand. We have capacity, we have the cattle, we have the slaughter facilities up and running, and we have the ability to deliver that product to store shelves around the country. And importantly, the administration's designation of our industry as part of that critical infrastructure is what's really going to allow us to continue providing that as we see different portions of this shutdown take effect in different parts of the country.
These critical workers that you mentioned certainly aren't immune to getting sick, whether it's those working in slaughterhouses, truckers, your other workers, et cetera. How are you dealing with that?
You know, different parts of our industry are tackling that in different ways. We've been in constant communication with our supply chain, whether it be at the feedlot level and those cow-calf operations all the way through packers and processors. And they're all working those pandemic plans. They're looking at different staffing possibilities to ensure that when and if they start to see infections in those areas, they have the ability to pivot and make sure they still have workers to keep those plants up and operating and those operations moving. As well on the transportation and trucking side, that's something that they're going to have to continue to manage. But we're hearing positive signs from all of those different areas, as we are from the federal government on the inspection side, whether it's FSIS or APHIS or the Ag Marketing Service. You know, they're putting their own plans in place to ensure that those inspectors are going to be in there as well, which is also a critical part of that process.
You know, I'm thinking of the current situation where the restaurants around this country are closed. Big cities like New York and Chicago, which have an awful lot of steakhouses, almost every other block for that matter. How are you being affected by the drop-off in demand from restaurants being closed?
Well, you know, box beef has been flying off the shelves at the retail level. We've seen a 77% surge in sales in just since the week of March 15th, which was last week. And I think what we're seeing is a little bit of a pivot from some of those wholesale shipments to the retail side to make sure they meet that consumer demand. Obviously, you know, I'm in Washington, D.C., and we can still get cheeseburgers and steaks delivered from places around our office in downtown D.C., but clearly their traffic is off. But we're seeing consumers' freezers get filled up at the same time, and so that demand's shifting to those home cooks that are spending the next 2 or 3 weeks sitting at home watching CNBC.
Appreciate that. Ethan, you take care. Thanks for being with us tonight. That's Ethan Lane, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, with us tonight. We'll get you caught up on all of the busy headlines this day on the market, the virus, next on the CNBC Special Report, Markets in Turmoil.